Welcome to BCB Live. Yes, we are that safest station in the nation. BCB Live, we're the safest station in the nation. Drive Safe Dave representing the Salmons today on BCB Live, and Sir Rick bringing it home.
It's not pink.
This is the safest station in the nation.
Hey, pink?
Dude, that was pink at some point. Yes, I agree. It was at some point. You know,
Pink. It's pink. I'm going to go
It
pink.
is not
It's
pink.
intended pink.
This is the safest station in the nation, Drive Safe Dave, and Sir Rick is always out here showing you and showing everybody what safety looks like. And Dave, I am safety. Are you safety, or are you just a talk?
I am
a talker about safety.
I am a believer, I'm a follower, and I'm a leader in safety. Yes, all of those things. But safety is kind of just a little bit different. It's more than just a thing. It's more than just something like that. It's a way of life. It's a way of thinking. It's a way. There are so many paths to safety, Sir Rick. I can't just limit it to one, and I can't just limit it to you.
And I can appreciate that, sir. I can appreciate that. But seriously, when we talk about safety, it's something we've got to get out. It's an intentional act.
It is.
It's an intentional act that says, I'm going to slow down, that I'm not going to follow so close. It's an intentional act that says, I'm going to get out and look. I'm going to do a post-trip and I'm going to do a pre-trip. Dave, if you do a post-trip, do you even have to do a pre-trip? Because haven't you just kind of done it if you did the post-trip?
That is not true. You know, things happen. Things happen through in that time that you were off. The tires can go flat. Things can happen. Things can happen to your trailer while you were sleeping. Things can just happen. You've got to be genuinely prepared for all contingencies, and you want to be able to say every single time, Rick, that I checked.
Yeah, I checked, and you want to be able to go to bed knowing you did it right.
Absolutely.
That's what we do. We are professionals at what we do. We do our parts right.
That's
the
correct.
whole thing. Not just a little bit of it, because Dave, if you slip up on one thing, it can just ruin the whole day.
It can escalate. It can escalate. Something so simple as a broken spring can mean the difference between life and death out there on the road, believe it or not.
If I follow all the rules, if I follow all the street signs that I see out there, yet I go up this one road, right? The do not enter. I enter into that deadly do not enter zone, Dave. I have entered into it. It is, and it can turn out to be bad.
Absolutely. You know, anytime you see a red and white sign, a red sign with white lettering, it typically means stop. You're either going the wrong way, or you do not enter, or it just means stop.
When do we see a red sign that means go?
Never.
Ever?
I don't think so.
I'm trying to think of one right now.
I can't either.
I know we want to go sometimes, right? I
do.
know we get tired of waiting too long, and we want to slow roll that stop sign, but it does mean stop. What do you got, David?
Yeah, it doesn't mean, it's not a suggestion. These aren't suggestions. These are the rules. You know, we find it difficult. Most of the time, people see a red light at a traffic light. They stop with no hesitation. They stop, they may turn right on red, but a lot of the times they just stop. Rarely will you see a person just run a red light to run a red light or slow roll a red light.
Yeah,
right?
and even if you're going to a way station, Drive Safe Dave, and it's the red light, you don't go past it, right?
No.
When you go past a red light at a way station, what's going to happen?
You might get pulled in and talked to a little bit, and you might even get shut down. You never know what kind of bad things, because they'll make a point for you to remember to stop the next time.
They will do that. Hey, we're going to go to a quick break. Drive Safe Dave. We have some news coming ready for you. We're going to be back in 60 seconds on BCB Live.
The safest station in the nation.
All right. Hey, check it out. Here we are live right here in Mansfield, Texas, our BCB Live studio. What I really love about this place right now are the endless opportunities, the endless ways that you can use this studio.
Hey, welcome back to the 2023 Pickle Parade.
BCB Live, we started out really focused on that transportation, that trucking only. You know, talking about safety, making sure that we're giving that story about safety. We have the ability to do interviews, social media content, sales opportunities. What are you showcasing? What are you doing today that you've got to get that out? Welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive safe, Dave. I had an idea as I entered into that do not enter sign on you. And it had to do with some of the words I had saw on some CB lingo words and phrases. Dave, you're an ex-trucker.
I am an ex-trucker.
Did you use the radio much, the CB?
I did use the CB every now and then.
Were you a CB user?
I've been known to use
We know your name was Sledgehammer, right? That was your call sign. That was your, what do you call that?
Handle.
The handle. Good job. He's already passing it, right? So here we go, Drive Safe Dave. We're going to start back door. What does that mean on the radio?
Back door is everything behind you. That is everything going the other direction or behind you. That is your back door.
Hey, we got a bear, Dave. What is that?
Bear is a police officer, and usually the bear is somebody that is a city cop or something like that.
What about the old chicken coop?
The chicken coops are the scale houses or the weigh stations.
And with the chicken lights?
The chicken lights are all those bright lights that you'll see all around that aren't basically your DOT.
Drive safe, Dave. You got a clean shot.
There is nothing up ahead of you. You can put the hammer down and let her roll.
Hey, we got a diesel bear.
You got a DOT officer.
Oh, guy like that. Hey, what about old Evel Knievel?
That's a little guy on a motorcycle. It can be either a police officer or it can be a person riding a motorcycle.
A way cop?
A way cop scale house.
Hey,
usually rolling portables.
She's what is it? She's whipping her feet or wiping her feet? It says whipping. Whipping her feet, wiping her feet.
Wiping her feet. I don't know what that is.
Wiping her feet.
What is that? What is that?
Truck is slipping, sliding.
Oh, yeah, slip and slide.
Slip and slide. Dave, that wasn't bad.
I called them skis. We called them skis.
Gotcha.
I got skis instead of tires.
Hey, my heaters are glowing and my manners are showing.
My heaters are glowing. I got my headlights on and I'm running down the road.
My amp is working exceptionally well. Everything I can do, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, good job, Drive Safe, Dave.
Yeah, I've been
You may have been out there, or you were just sitting there on the side of the road or at the truck stop listening
to
right?
the radio, trying to pretend, hey, everybody.
Teddy bear, right?
Teddy bear.
There we go.
Go
Hey,
on.
Drive Safe, Dave, let's talk a little news here real quick. Hey, we do have some plans from the FMCSA.
Which is nice.
We're going to study that detention, Drive Safe, Dave.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. What took so long, though, Sir Rick? Why is it just because the data's out there now and available to us with the ELDs? But why are we just now getting to this? They're going to study, and I'm glad that they're going to do it, but they're going to study not only the detention time, but how it impacts safety.
Yeah.
And you and I both agree that being held over can impact safety a lot.
Yeah, but you think about it, you bring up a good point. The reason why you could never study it prior to 2018 is you didn't have enough carriers out there that were running the electronic logs.
That's correct.
So you had no data to go back and measure what it even looks like. So they do have, 250 carriers or 2,500 carriers?
Yeah, some 2,500 carriers.
2,500 carriers going to participate in this. And Dave, I like this because it is so true. When you sit down, Dave, and we do measurements around, numbers, and when a truck is sitting, on average, a truck that's running is going to run about 55 to 57 miles an hour.
That's correct.
So every hour that truck is sitting at detention, waiting for a shipper, waiting for a receiver, even if you had that 8 o'clock appointment, right, and you get there at 7:50,
right,
and you get unloaded at noon, Dave, you've lost 4 hours of productivity. 4 hours, maybe 2 or 3 hours of detention, but you still have lost productivity, real hours, real miles that you can't get away. And Dave, when we think about all of this, sitting down, especially for an extended amount of time, listen, we know y'all know this pain that I'm talking about. It doesn't make you happy, right? It doesn't. There's nothing invigorating about this. I mean, Dave, if you're sitting down there, you're stewing.
No, I'm going to tell you right now, Rick. I've always said this, and I've always said this about most drivers. If you make me, if I got a nickel for every time I waited patiently, I probably would still owe about $350.
Yeah.
And
I get it.
I
You know
just
what?
don't.
But there's nothing more frustrating than an industry such as the transportation
Correct.
one.
When you wanna
you're
roll.
waiting, you still have to wait to get unloaded. You get there at your appointment time, you still have maybe 2 hours of free. To the shippers out there, though, Dave, they've got to understand the cost associated to this to a driver. And we're not just talking money. Let's throw that money aside for a second.
Right.
Let's talk about safety.
Absolutely.
Because when you're sitting there and waiting, Dave, fatigue begins to kick in.
Absolutely, and it's not, there's a lot of things, and I think one of the main reasons why fatigue kicks in, Rick, is because your stress becomes elevated.
Oh, yeah.
And once you start to stress out over worrying about your time, worrying about not being there, and that stress starts to put on your body, and you and I both know that stress is one of the leading factors in fatigue that there is out there on the road. It's just stress, and I'm going to tell you right now, making a driver wait impacts their stress level.
Yeah, and Dave, they're looking, and why are they stressed out? Well, because they have a pickup that now they can't make.
Correct.
And Dave, when you can't make that pickup today, you may have to wait until tomorrow to get that. And guess what? You may go to the back of the line tomorrow.
Right.
You know, it doesn't mean you're going to get that first appointment. So to the dispatchers out there, to the driver managers, to trucking companies out there, and to the shippers out there watching this show, detention is critical, and it is something that you can't control all of it.
Right.
But you sure can address it and get it addressed the right way.
Yeah, and try to be a little bit more understanding when a driver does get late. If they got, you never know, especially if it's your shipper and you're bringing it to you and you knew that they were running you late, you should have some kind of understanding knowing that that guy that always ships there always comes out of there late because they never get them on time. You should have it, and then you want to be a jerk about rejecting them when you know every single time that load comes out of there bad. You've got to be a little bit more understanding on them as well.
Yeah, for certain drives today, we're going to flip it over to a little,
Okay, so here's
and this is something only, this article right here has been read once by you.
No.
Nobody else has read this article in the whole world.
Okay, so I'll tell you what I found most interesting about this. It develops a motor that cuts out rare materials, but what it's doing is it cuts out the magnet inside the motor. Every motor that most of us associate with that takes electrical energy and turns it into mechanical energy uses magnets. So your fan, your ceiling fan, your truck, all of these things that create electricity, once they have mechanical energy going, or vice versa, we take mechanical, turn it to electrical, electrical back to mechanical, but we use magnets in all of this. They have developed an engine that uses just the electric current alone to create a magnetic field that spins the motor. Look, we're talking about evolutionary, and what's so crazy about it, you know how many raw materials are necessary to create all these magnets necessary to create these motors?
How many drives?
I mean, it's just
it's a lot,
right?
Right
Now, the 50%.
Greenhouse gases. We think about all that. And Dave, so I ask you this question here. The reader of the article is, what's the cost of this engine?
Well, right now, we don't know yet, but they say
EV, right? EV supposedly, and Dave, I'm going to challenge you on this because you're one of those guys that think the EV is the greatest thing ever.
Whoa.
Meanwhile,
I'm a diesel truck
look
guy.
Look how much electricity it takes to run these things right here. And now we have a battery here that
This isn't a
or
battery, it's a
engine,
motor.
I'm sorry, a motor that they now have one in stock. How many trucks is that in right now, Dave? I just challenge stuff like that because we continue to see this technology. We talk about autonomous vehicles. We talk about these electric vehicles. And while they sound good, and I'm not saying they're not good, they don't work, but there's just not a lot of them out there. There's the EV side, it's just not there. The infrastructure's not even
absolutely.
close.
The infrastructure's not there. The materials aren't there. The manufacturing's not there. The equipment in place, none of it's there. I mean, I know that we're moving forward to that and we're working hard to get it done, but I can tell you right now, I don't see any of the deadlines being made.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially the short-term deadlines, I don't see them being made. Here's a very interesting thing going on out there with Storm Lee. It's out there. Look, by Sunday, they think it'll already be at 150 miles an hour out east of the Southern Antilles, just north of the Southern Antilles, moving into here. It may or may not make it over here. They're worried about it, but
It's pretty. That was. You know what? You heard it here first.
It may
or may not make landfall.
We
Right,
don't know.
Dave.
It's so far out it may turn. We don't know. It's so far. Look,
I'm agreeing on you, but Doesn't everything may or may not? I mean,
Well,
that
you
pretty
know,
much
it
answers
sounds
everything.
better that
Here
way.
we go. Hey,
Yeah.
Dave, what about weather? How we looking?
Hot. It's going to continue to be hot here as the heat dome sets in. Rick, you and I both know it's going to continue to be hot here over the southern plains states. And it's going to be up, 105 today, 106 tomorrow, and 107 on Sunday.
You know, it's absolutely incredible how hot it is.
Yeah, it's
I mean, and
ridiculous.
I'm talking, and we're talking in the Texas area right now. Dave, I'll just do it because I haven't looked at it yet. But let's just go to the old weather app and let's just see what the next 10 days. Dave, we're in September.
Yeah, but I think next week, Rick, we're going to drop into the 80s.
I'm liking that. Ooh, I like that. Here we go. Next 10 days, 102, 106, 109, 97, 90. We got an 82 and a 78 next Wednesday and Thursday with a 40% chance of rain.
Boom!
Oh, my goodness.
I
I'm
need
loving
some
life.
water. Bring it.
I'm loving life. Hey, y'all be safe out there today. Make it happen. Hey, next week, Dave, we're going to talk about it towards the end of the week, and especially next week. It is Driver Appreciation
Yes.
Week. One of our favorite weeks of the year. It's so much that this is a holiday that's worth celebrating, Drive Safe Day. Put all the others aside because this is a holiday in which we still work.
Yeah. And
That's what
and we
these
focus on some of the things that need to be focused on. and
Hey,
that's
God
you.
bless each and every one of you. Thank you for what you do. Stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.